26 civilians were killed in cold blood by Pakistan-backed terrorists. It's exactly a month to that dastardly attack, and today, Prime Minister Modi reaffirmed India's stance that each and every terror attack will be treated as an act of war. It will be answered with military and diplomatic measures, hard ones. India has drawn the red line for Pakistan. There will be no distinction anymore between a terror group and the Pakistani state. By every measure, the government of the day and our armed forces have the complete backing of the country. No other terror attack, in fact, has brought the country together in a way like we've seen this time around. Today, the Prime Minister, in a public meeting in Rajasthan, said that although he remains calm and composed, his blood runs hot with passion and determination when it comes to the country, and they had given a free hand to all three wings of India's armed forces, which is why Operation Sindoor could have been carried out the way it did, as effectively as it did. He was making this address just a few kilometers away from the Pakistan border, and he made it very clear to Pakistan that no amount of nuclear blackmail or nuclear threat coming in from the Pakistani side will be tolerated.
हमारी सरकार ने तीनों सेनाओं को खुली छूट दे दी थी और तीनों सेनाओं ने मिलकर ऐसा चक्रव्यूह रचा कि पाकिस्तान को घुटने टेकने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। 22 तारीख के हमले के जवाब में हमने 22 मिनट में आतंकियों के 9 सबसे बड़े ठिकाने तबाह कर दिए। दुनिया ने और देश के दुश्मनों ने भी देख लिया कि जब सिंदूर बारूद बन जाता है तो नतीजा क्या होता है। बस नहीं है, ये समर्थ भारत का रौद्र रूप है। ये भारत का नया स्वरूप है। आतंक का फन कुचलने की यही नीति है, यही रीति है, यही भारत है, नया भारत है। एटम बम की गीदड़ बप्तियों से भारत डरने वाला नहीं है। यहां से कुछ ही दूर सीमा पार पाकिस्तान का रहीम यार खान एयरबेस है। पता नहीं आगे कब खुलेगा। आईसीयू में पड़ा है। भारत की सेना के अचूक प्रहार ने इस एयरबेस को तहस नहस कर दिया है। न ट्रेड होगा न टॉक। अगर बात होगी तो सिर्फ पाकिस्तान के कब्जे वाले कश्मीर की, पीओके की। और अगर पाकिस्तान ने आतंकियों को एक्सपोर्ट करना जारी रखा तो उसको पाई पाई के लिए मोहताज होना होगा। पाकिस्तान को भारत के हक का पानी नहीं मिलेगा। भारतीयों के खून से खेलना पाकिस्तान को महंगा पड़ेगा। ये भारत का संकल्प है और दुनिया की कोई ताकत हमें इस संकल्प से टिका नहीं सकती है।
Now, even as we have the Prime Minister of this country make it very clear to India, to Pakistan and to the rest of the world that India is not going to shy away from taking action against Pakistan if it tries to provoke us, if it foments trouble, if it harbors terrorists that spill blood on Indian soil. At such a time when we're seeing the conflict between India and Pakistan, now the ceasefire that is in effect, the United States President Donald Trump has tried to take credit for the ceasefire, a claim that has been outrightly rejected by India on multiple occasions. Donald Trump, in fact, once again tried to take credit for that just yesterday. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has rebutted those claims in the clearest of terms. Trump declared at a joint press conference just yesterday that the US settled this entire thing between India and Pakistan. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said that there is no way that there was any US intervention. He stated that there was no third-party involvement at all, and conversations with the United States were very much like the conversations that India has had with many other countries in the course of Operation Sindoor, where they were briefed about the kind of action India had taken and why it was necessary, because the provocation came in from the Pakistani side in the first place. But Donald Trump has been talking about how US settled the India-Pak ceasefire deal through trade. Remember, there are trade negotiations that are currently underway between the United States and India, and he's been harping on that fact. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar made it clear that nobody, including Pakistan, including the United States, in fact, had any say in what steps India and Pakistan were to take. India has been very clear that if this fighting needs to stop, then Pakistan needs to take the first step, which is exactly what happened. Their general had to call up India's general, the DGMO hotline, and that is when we decided that we will stand down, because Pakistan made the first move, asked us to stop the firing. Trump went on to repeat that the United States spoke to both nations and brokered the deal. He in fact even spoke about what a great friend Prime Minister Modi was. But India has shut down that claim, contending that this is something between India and Pakistan and talks will only happen on POK and on terror. Trump continued to contend that the United States did something good by brokering this deal between India and Pakistan. What S. Jaishankar said during an interview to a Dutch daily was that contending that India and Pakistan will deal with the issue bilaterally, and that's always been the case. That has been India's stated policy. Listen in to what President Donald Trump said and how External Affairs Minister countered it.
If you take a look at what we just did with Pakistan and India, we settled that whole thing, and I think I settled it through trade. We're doing a big deal with India, we're doing a big deal with Pakistan, and I said, what are you guys doing? You know, somebody had to be the last one to shoot, but the shooting was getting worse and worse, bigger and bigger, deeper and deeper into the countries, and we spoke to them, and I think I hate to say we got it settled, and then 2 days later, something happens and they say it's Trump's fault.
Yes, we have a mechanism to talk to each other as a hotline.
Yep.
So on the 10th of May, it was the Pakistani army which sent a message that they were ready to stop firing, and we responded accordingly. The ceasefire, the cessation of firing and military action was something which was negotiated directly between India and Pakistan. We made one thing very clear to everybody who spoke to us.
Address today has made it clear what India's resolve is going to look like, but the Congress is not impressed. Rahul Gandhi is now the latest one to attack the Prime Minister on his social media platform X. He goes on to say that Modi ji stopped giving hollow speeches. There are 3 questions that the leader of opposition of the country has put forth. Why did you believe Pakistan's statement on terrorism is a question Rahul Gandhi is asked of the BJP, of the Prime Minister personally. Why did you sacrifice India's interests by bowing to Trump, he asks. Why does your blood boil only in front of cameras? That's a question that has been asked by Jairam Ramesh of the Congress as well, claiming that these are just filmy dialogues that the Prime Minister has come out with. But what about action? Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition, going on to say that India's honor has been compromised by the Prime Minister and by this government. This comes at a time when we have the government, the Prime Minister all making it clear that Pakistan will be dealt with an iron hand. We have several delegations of several MPs that are travelling around the world taking that very message that Pakistan has been punished because of its provocations, because of its decadal support to terror groups that flourish on Pakistani soil. At such a time, we have some within India that are casting doubt of India's policy and the approach that has been taken. Let me open this up to our guests who join us on this broadcast. R.P. Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP, Sujata Paul, spokesperson of the Congress, is with us. Former diplomat Ashok Sajjanhar and Tarakarta, former director of NSCS, is with us as well. Let me begin by asking Sujata Paul, the kind of questions that the Congress is asking, all valid questions to ask. We live in a democracy. Everyone has a right to ask these questions. But could it have waited? Is this the right time to ask those questions? We have, like I said, we have at a time like this, several delegations that are traveling the world exposing Pakistan. There's a certain message that India is trying to send to the world. At such a time, why should parties within India be seen to be bickering amongst themselves?
Well, the responsibility was with the Prime Minister, and I would like to quote Susan Bryant. I want the truth. I want to trust. The words that trip from lips that lie. I want all doubts to fade to dust. I want the truth. I want to trust. Truth hurts. Truth heals. Truth's heart is just. My faith in you, it hasn't died. I want the truth. I want to trust. The words that trip from lips that lie. The fact is that when the Prime Minister returned to the country, when the terror strike happened on 22nd of April, we had hoped that he would talk to the leaders of opposition, which he did not. Instead, he went to Bihar and he increased this trust deficit. And now, when Donald Trump is repeated, and this is the 8th time in 11 days, that he has again said that it was because of trade that he asked the two countries to stop fighting for a ceasefire. What is this? On the one hand, you have the foreign minister saying that there is no such thing which has happened according to you, but I didn't hear him say it. He merely said that this is a bilateral issue, which it is, and that is why we are questioning as to why Donald Trump is constantly talking about.
But Sujata Paul, the External Affairs Minister in this interview, the Foreign Secretary to the Standing Committee, the Ministry of External Affairs in their statement has made it clear that United States, like many other countries, in the course of this entire operation was briefed about what happened. But they had no say in when the ceasefire came into effect or how it was brokered. It was after the Pakistan DGMO dialed up the Indian DGMO, that's when the decision was taken. The government has made that clear.
My dear friend, I want to ask you, why is the Prime Minister not saying it in so many words? When he is going and giving a speech, and what is he talking about? Sindoor runs in my veins. Well, let me tell you, Sindoor is trilet tetroxide, which is pretty harmful for your body. So when you talk about these things, he's just, these are such fallacious statements that he's making. He needs to talk and talk straight, because we saw exactly the same kind of dialogues after Pulwama. We saw the same kind of dialogues after Galwan. And this has to do only with politics and votes. So when you're
talking
votes for
about what? He was in Rajasthan. Rajasthan is not a poll-bound state. Is there an election coming around?
This, in the world of, in the times of digital age, what he said is definitely going to reach every state where elections are to take place, and especially Bihar. But you tell me, why is it that in the same interview, the foreign minister had said, even at the start of the operation, we had informed Pakistan that we were striking only terrorist bases and not military bases. Did Pakistan inform us? Did Pakistan inform us?
You can't allow your tongue to spread lies.
Sujata Paul, again, that statement has also been countered by the External Affairs Ministry, by the Foreign Secretary. RP Singh, I'll come to you, by the Foreign Secretary as well. You believe what Donald Trump has been saying, but every counter that has come into the fore from the Indian government, that's not truth according to the Congress party, or so it seems. And that's the question many are asking. Even your alliance partners are asking the same thing. But RP Singh, go ahead.
No. Hang on. One last thing.
You've made your point. Sujata Paul, you've made your point. Let the others come in as well, please.
The BJP is believing what the Pakistani media is saying about us.
But the Pakistani media is talking about what Rahul Gandhi and everybody else in the Congress is voting.
No, but they're also talking about Jai Shankar ji. They're making fun of him. Haven't you seen the
video? And at such a time, shouldn't the Congress and every other party in the country stand with Jai Shankar ji and everybody else in the government? But that's not what we're seeing. But anyway, RP Singh, go ahead, please. Sujata Paul, just a second. Let the BJP respond.
He informed
RP Singh, go ahead, please.
See, Sujata Pal is spreading lies. I mean, she's using your platform to spread lies. Fact is that, and they have been doing that again and again. After Pulwama, they raised questions when surgical strike happened, when the air strike happened, they raised questions on surgical strike, air strike, proof do. Rahul Gandhi, Sam Prathoda, all of the leaders, they were asking for proofs on the surgical strike and air strike both. Also, even now, they are asking proof. How many aeroplanes हमारे टूट गए, हमारे कितने aeroplanes टूट गए, how many aeroplanes have been brought down. I mean, they are not asking the Pakistan. How many air bases have been attacked? How many air bases have been brought to raise? I mean, let me, for repetition's sake, let me name all of them, because their memory is very short. Noor Khan, Rafaki, Murid Sukur, Sialkot, Pasrur, Chunani, Sargoda, Sakrudu, Buleri, and Jakakobad. Have you ever heard before this that we went inside Punjab and Sindh, not only in Pakistan or Kashmir, and then the forces demolished their air bases there. The Muzahis demolished their air bases. Other than the attack on their terrorist hubs, the 9 terrorist hubs. I mean, other than that, but they don't want to believe the army, and they don't believe that even the army DGM has on record said that we never gave any information in advance. I'm sorry, Sujata Pal, you and your leaders are poor at probably at English. He never said before. He said at. And there's a difference between before and at. I'll appreciate, please go through that statement again. You'll understand what's the difference between before and at. And then, yes, we informed Pakistan after the attack and said, yes, we have attacked your 11 terrorist hubs, and then we will, if you retaliate, we'll retaliate again. Well, there's nothing wrong. And then Prime Minister from Bihar has categorically said, yes, we are going to give them back. Even today, Prime Minister repeated that. And three basic things which Prime Minister said today from Rajasthan also categorically states that we are not going to take it lying down. Be prepared if you try to misbehave, and then we will give it back to you. Any attack will be given a befitting reply. Second, that we are not scared of your atom bomb. I mean, that bogey of atom bomb or their bluff has been called for. And also, the terror backers will also be taken care. I mean, that's why the air bases or their defense bases were attacked. So, but they don't believe in army. They don't have to believe in army. They have to create a confusion here, and there's a reason behind it. Now, I'm accusing them. You remember during Corona, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was saying, Pfizer kab aayega, Pfizer kab laenge, Pfizer ko lao, Pfizer is very good, Pfizer is very good. Fact is, the Prime Minister said that we will use Made in India, and then we will ensure that Made in India vaccinations are used in India. But he was on to Pfizer because of certain lobbying which were they were working for. Similarly, now that which airplane has crashed, what airplane has been
and we've seen the kind of questions that were raised after Balakot, after the surgical strikes as well. But speaking of this allegation that comes in from the Congress and many others within the opposition, I want to get in a former diplomat as well on this. Ashok Sajjanhar, as far as what the External Affairs Minister said, what the Indian Armed Forces have also said, that during that DGMO call, when there was a hotline that was used right after the commencement of Operation Sindoor, they were told that we are going to be striking your military installations, we are going to be striking, I beg your pardon, at your terrorist infrastructure, and the military can stand down, but the military stood with them. Is this not protocol to follow between the two countries? Is this not part of diplomatic protocol where you have to inform that you have been taking action in somebody else's territory over something that they started?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on the show. You see, basically, the message that we wanted to convey to Pakistan is that we were going after the terrorist strongholds, terrorist hideouts, and our approach was non-escalatory. We were going to be focused, we were going to be very precise. On the 7th morning after the, our strikes had been carried out, on those 9 strongholds, and we were very, very clear because, in the past, whether it was against Uri, after the Uri attacks, or after the Pulwama when we struck in Balakot, they were only in limited areas. Right now, we went and struck through the heartland of Pakistan in Punjab, whether it was Bahawalpur, whether it was Muridke, and all the terrorist hideouts, they were completely devastated, they were demolished. Our objectives at that time had been achieved on the 7th morning. And on the 7th morning, the army told the Pakistan DGMO that our objectives have been achieved. If you don't escalate, we are not going to escalate. And as the External Affairs Minister said, Pakistan refused to take that sage advice from us. They escalated on the 7th, on the 8th, on the 9th. On the 9th night, 10th morning, we hit out at their 11 airfields, and we gave so much of damage to the airfields and runaways that Pakistan came on its knees to India requesting for a ceasefire. And when we were considering in terms of our response to the ceasefire, we devastated 2 more of their airfields. So in all, 13 airfields were devastated. And as I said, on the 7th morning, our objectives had been achieved. So we agreed to the ceasefire. Mr. Trump had no role to play whatsoever. These were just conversations. The last point I would say is that Mr. Trump is used to taking credit. He wants credit for things he has not done. And he's not been successful on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. He has not been successful on the Israel-Hamas conflict. So he thought he'll be able to take credit here. But in several of the commentaries from India, whether it's External Affairs Minister, whether it's DGMO, whether it is the official spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs, it's been categorically stated that it was bilaterally when DGMO came to India, then we accepted that. And no other country, least of all the United States, had any role to play in bringing about this ceasefire.
There was no role that was played by a third party as far as the ceasefire was concerned. But Tarakarta, there is a role that India wants the world to play as far as naming and shaming Pakistan is concerned. We are sending a lot of our MPs. Some of the delegations have already left. Some others are going to do so in the next couple of days. And the one-point agenda is to tell the world that Operation Sindoor was necessitated because of what Pakistan did, what Pak-backed terrorists did. It is a problem that Pakistan has, which is never acknowledged, that they do support, harbor, shelter, and even let some of these terrorists flourish on their soil. It is a problem that Pakistan needs to deal with. At such a time, shouldn't we be sending a message of unity within the country when that's what we're trying to portray to the world?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I'm very sad to see this kind of attitude from, I have no political leanings, but I'm extremely sad to see this kind of attitude from Congress at this point of time. Let me ask you a simple question. When you say Trump and trade, do anybody, and especially some senior Congress leaders, seriously believe that Trump will give you, benefits on trade for a ceasefire? That is, break it down for me. When you say the Trump said trade, I promise trade. So the implication is that Trump said that I will give you some kind of, breaks on trade. He's never going to do that. It's not going to happen. I would love Trump to be part of a community which will persuade Pakistan to dismantle its terrorism, not just into India, into Afghanistan as well, into Iran, into other countries. Recently, there was one whole module caught in Spain. So it's something we are trying to tell the world. And I would genuinely expect that the Congress and the other parties, you have a right to ask, of course. That's the opposition role. But show some sign of unity with our armed forces. We won the battle. Now let's win the war.
Can I come in?
Yes, Sujata Paul. The kind of questions that are being raised, the Congress has been saying that we are not questioning. We're not. I'll come to you, RP Singh. But Sujata Paul, when the Congress says that we're only questioning the government of the day and not the armed forces, that's not true, is it? Because when we have leaders like the Congress chief himself who comes out and says that this was a chutput war, or others within the Congress asking that or saying that this was thodi si activity that happened, aren't you undermining what the armed forces did? That Operation Sindoor wasn't carried out by the government, it was done by the armed forces.
Absolutely not. Were we attacking Pakistan or the terror bases? This is what the government stand is. Make no mistake. And as far as the Congress party is concerned, we have said from the beginning that we stand with the government. Government means under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He is the one who has not taken responsibility. He has not spoken to the leaders of opposition. And it is the BJP IT cell, I would like to tell Ms. Tara, who came out with videos where they targeted the UPA government, and I'm sure you also saw the UPA government act when Ajmal Kasab was arrested. The matter was all possible evidences were collected, and that is
Sujata
why
Paul, as far as the response after 26/11 was concerned, it was to say the very least, it left many people wanting, to say the very least.
Listen, Poonam, what has been said about us, I'm telling you about that only. I'm answering about what the BJP IT cell did. They brought out that video. Why? They were trying to say that, oh, during the UPA time, this did not happen. This has happened under Narendra Modi ji. So it is the trust deficit which is being built by the Prime Minister's party, not by the Congress party. And definitely, if we had informed the Pakistanis about the terror attack, I want to know from your panelists, when Osama bin Laden was killed in Pakistan, did US inform them? Secondly, did Pakistan inform us when they killed our civilians after this attack? No, they didn't. So who's responsible for that? You can sit here and smile, all of you, but you have to be responsible for the people who have died in our country. And will anybody take responsibility, or will you expect us not to speak for them? Will you expect us to remain quiet when our people are being killed and the
But
army
who
is
is
doing
quiet?
its
That's
job
exactly
and
what
the
is being
government?
done.
No,
What do you think these delegations of MPs are doing out in the world?
Well, these delegations were sent even in 2008, and this was a welcome stand. But you know the kind of politics which was played at that time also. Because
And what is the kind of politics that was played right now, Sujata Paul? There were
It
questions
was
that were
not
raised
about
over the
the
kind of delegation that was being sent right now as well. But RP Singh,
No,
the
it was not
allegation
about
against the
a
BJP.
diplomat who had to be sent. It was a political delegation. So
It
the
was.
matter was blown out
It
of
was.
proportion.
And the questions were asked even by the
Of course,
Congress as to
diplomats
why
had to
one
go
certain
along with
person
them.
was
What are you
included and
talking?
certain person was excluded. But anyway,
No, that is something which was created by the BJP, because if you're asking us for names, we have the right to give names and you have to choose from there. You
Sure.
will not blow things out of proportion. The
Sure.
Prime Minister is blowing hot in his hollow speeches and blowing cold when it comes to Trump.
So
That
RP
is
Singh,
what is happening.
the Congress's allegation is that this is all talk by the government. You're not walking the talk and holding either Pakistan accountable or the United States accountable in what has transpired. This is just you trying to pander to a certain narrative or try and gauge the kind of mood and sentiment that seems to be in the country.
We are holding Pakistan responsible. Their friend Pakistan, the Congress party's friend Pakistan responsible, and we will hold it responsible. Remember, after abrogation of 370-35A, Rahul Gandhi said, oh, there is bloodbath which is happening in Kashmir.
Now you are not going to ask him why he's going back in
bloodbath happening in
history.
Kashmir. And exactly verbatim
Yeah,
he was
you're not
quoted
going to
by
tell him
Imran
that
Khan.
Sujata
Sir,
Paul,
you
you spoke about
Simple.
2611. Let him
So-
speak. You had your time to say.
So-
Let him respond as well.
She was saying that Pakistan, you know,
as to why
I didn't question you. I didn't question you about the videos that you were talking about. I told you about what the response after 2611 was. But anyway, RP Singh, please continue. Let's not heckle each other, please. RP Singh, please make your point.
When I spoke about 2611.
RP Singh, go ahead.
And also, ma'am, you should know, as far tariff goes or as far business goes or trade goes, India has just imposed retaliatory tariff on America. So this is after Mr. Trump's statement. So what sort of trade benefit is happening? That's clear with the retaliatory tariff which India is imposing on America now. So this has nothing to do with that. Only thing is, Donald Trump has his own world. He can say whatever he has to say. He said there's a conflict between India and Pakistan will last for 1,000 years. So we accept that. With Kashmir. So Pakistan came into being only 75 years ago, but he thinks it's 1,000-year-old Pakistan. So he can keep saying what he has to say. The fact is that Indian government is clear that this is a war against terror. We have taken action which no other government before this could take. When they had a chance, they are talking about 2611.
Sure.
And 70 people died after 2611.
I'm not going to sit
What
here
was
and
their reaction?
Sure.
What was
No,
their reaction
so-
to
so-
that?
This never happened. All terror attacks have
Sure.
happened.
RP Singh, the response that has come to the fore in the past now has all been done militarily. India's forces have done that. Governments of the day changed.
Congress has an agenda.
The Indian
and
armed
that
forces
agenda,
have
where
been
does that
standing
agenda come from?
steadfast.
That we
But-
all know that when they have
But I have very limited-
Chinese diplomats here.
That's exactly what I said, Sujata Paul, that the governments of the day may change with time, but India's armed forces have been standing steadfast. But I have very limited time and I want to give Ashok Sajanhar and Tarakarta the last word. Ashok Sajanhar, quick last comment about what India can do from here on. We've shown Pakistan what we can do militarily. We've shown them what we can do diplomatically as well. And now we're also trying to expose them to the world with these delegations that are going out. What next? What more can we do?
Very quickly, one comment, if you allow me.
Yes.
That our armed forces, of course, conducted themselves very creditably, superbly. But there's also a big role of the political leadership. And I don't think we should forget that. Because in any decision making of this, political leadership has a huge role to play. Going forward, we cannot, there is a huge deterrence that has been given to Pakistan. But that doesn't mean that Pakistan is not going to come back again at us. We have to make ourselves ready, improve our armed preparedness, our combat readiness, ensure that there is unity in the country, because that is what the terrorists wanted, that they wanted to disturb and destroy the communal harmony within the country. We have to maintain that harmony. And we have to grow economically. Today, India is the fastest growing major economy. We are the 4th largest economy. We have to continue on that path. So become strong economically, become strong socially within the country, and also make our armed forces preparedness even better than what we are, because Pakistan is going to get all that weaponry from China and Turkey.
And they already are. We've already seen some kind of expeditious delivery of certain arms coming in from China. But as far as the United States is concerned, and Taragarta, I want to ask you about this, because the United States is being spoken of very often in this entire narrative. It suits United States and Trump's narrative to keep Pakistan on their good side as well, isn't it? And that's something that we need to be wary of.
Oh, that's something we've dealt with for years. I mean, it's never ever gone away, because they always weigh in, but at the same time, and I think it was on your own show, which you had a US person saying that, look, we've got somebody standing by all the time to walk in case Pakistan's nukes gets out of hand. So that is the reality. Now, President Trump does something in a political manner, but the rest of the US system is very well aware of what is going on. I would say even someone like the NSA Marco Rubio, he has a very good sense of what actually happens. In going forward, I would agree with Ambassador Sajjan Har. These guys, Pakistanis, are not going to stop. They're going to try this again. So I would say your deterrence is actually magnified if all political parties stand together. If they think they can break you apart with like this, then it's not going to work. So at least, though I would agree with the Congress that you can't compare 2611 and this, they are two entirely different situations. So that I would agree, they should be brought on board, they should be briefed. But please, I would appeal, don't please have a political infighting, because that weakens your own deterrence capability.
Absolutely. I have to leave it there. I'm completely out of time. I thank you all for joining us here on this edition of The Right Stand. Speaking of Operation Sindoor, there is a lot of talk about what exactly this achieved. Many within the opposition have questioned what the achievement of Operation Sindoor was. Well, here's a ready reckoner of how India struck decisively and struck hard at terror bases inside Pakistan. Their military establishment, their air bases were pummeled as well. Take a look at how Bharat demolished Pakistan's narrative one step at a time.
After Bharat's Operation Sindoor precision strike on the 7th of May, decimating Pakistan terror hubs and pummeling its air bases, Pakistan resorted to propaganda warfare. But Bharat has demolished every fake claim point by point. A battered and nervous Pakistan said Pahalgam was a false flag operation by Bharat. Whenever Pakistan is cornered diplomatically, a false flag theory magically appears. Mumbai 2008, Pulwama 2019, and now Pahalgam 2025. The pattern is clear. Bharat demolished the fake narrative, contended that the Pahalgam attack targeted civilians including Hindu tourists and non-locals. The terror group TRF, the Resistance Front, a known Lashkar-e-Taiba proxy, claimed responsibility. Bharat further said that it had responded based on real-time intelligence and not theatrics. False flag accusations are part of Pakistan's standard playbook to deflect blame after every terror attack. The only false flag is Pakistan waving peace while exporting terror. After all its ploys were foiled, Pakistan created an obnoxious and bizarre narrative, saying Bharat used the attack to launch unprovoked aggression. Bharat demolished the fake narrative with facts. Bharat reiterated that it had conducted precision strikes on terror infrastructure, not civilian targets. Bharat showed Pakistan the mirror of a long record of harboring terror camps across Muridke, Bahawalpur and Muzaffarabad, the terror hubs that Bharat had struck in Operation Sindoor. The Indian strikes were preemptive, justified and aimed at neutralizing imminent threats. The resistance front had claimed and then denied responsibility for the Pahalgam massacre, and Pakistan had shielded the terror outfit by ensuring that TRF's mention was removed from the UNSC statement. Pakistan calling for neutral investigation was just a sham, and Bharat's bitter experience of the past carnages made it reject Pakistan's call. Bharat called it delay and stonewalling tactics. Bharat contended that Pakistan has a track record of rejecting multilateral accountability, and the example was FATF investigations. Bharat has also presented drone footage and terror intercepts to allies. Bharat remained firm that neutral probes cannot occur with a country like Pakistan, which is already under suspicion. The 2611 masterminds are living openly and freely in Lahore. They shelter snakes and ask for sympathy at the same time. That's Bharat's position. Already under global isolation, Pakistan started spreading the narrative that it was Bharat's media that spread fake war hysteria. Bharat demolished Pakistan's claim, saying that it was Indian media's urgency that reflected the scale of the threat. It was Pakistan's own ISPR that has run disinformation campaigns targeting Bharat via social media warfare. On the 11th of May, DGISPR used an old 2023 image to show Pakistan's current Navy preparedness against Bharat. DGISPR showed footage and claimed it was attack on the Srinagar Airbase, but Bharat fact-checked Pakistan and showed that he referred to old footage of sectarian clashes in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa from 2024. Independent fact-checkers validated Indian reporting, and the TRF's involvement was publicized by open sources. Pakistan again stood exposed of running the propaganda mill again. Under severe embarrassment, Pakistan launched Operation Bunyan-ul-Marsoos or Bunyan al-Marsoos, a verse from Quran that translates into a structure made of lead, calling it a legal and proportional response to Bharat's Operation Sindoor. It launched the Fatah missile, and Bharat intercepted the Delhi-bound Fatah 2 missile and downed it over Sirsa. It was Pakistan's deadly bid to target civilians that Bharat thwarted every time. Bunyan-ul-Marsoos may have sounded grand, but all it did was reveal Pakistan's delusion. Bharat called it a direct escalation as Pakistan targeted Indian radar systems and drone bases. Pakistan claiming destruction of S-400s and BrahMos sites was nothing but sheer propaganda. PM Modi's visit to the Adampur Airbase debunked Pakistan's lies as he stood with the S-400 in the backdrop, a clear proof of Bharat's defense assets remaining intact. Jolted by its terror infra being destroyed, Pakistan peddled another fake narrative of civilians being killed and mosques being destroyed in Operation Sindoor. Bharat showed proof that it targeted only verified terror hubs or markazes, centers. It is Pakistan's habit of embedding military assets in civilian zones that causes such collateral risks. Photos of damaged mosques were not geo-verified and lacked credible time-stamped evidence. Pakistan's own dossier had no satellite proof, no timestamps, and no international validation. Precision strikes on Muridke, Bahawalpur, and Muzaffarabad weren't aggression, they were justice. These aren't towns, they are launch pads for jihad. Pakistan cries about mosques. Did they forget Lashkar and Jaish run terror classes in religious buildings? Militarizing mosques dishonors faith. It was Pakistan who targeted Gurdwaras and the Golden Temple in Amritsar. They should not blame Bharat for hitting jihad and not worship. Bharat's response post-Pahalgam wasn't revenge. It was a necessary warning. Terror camps, sleeper cells and drone hubs will be dismantled across the LOC or beyond. Jai Hind.
Now, it's been 30 days since the Pahalgam terror attack. India continues its strong response both militarily and diplomatically. The deadly assault shook the nation. It prompted an unwavering crackdown on terror networks, the launch of Operation Sindoor, and retaliation against all those that were responsible for this dastardly attack. From intensified security measures in Jammu and Kashmir to a global outreach that's currently underway, India's stance has been firm: zero tolerance for terrorism. A massive shift in public sentiment is being seen in Kashmir as well. How Kashmir is coping up after this attack, after 30 days of what's transpired? Take a look.
For the first time in decades, a significant number of Kashmiris have publicly sided with the nation in condemning terrorism. Public sentiment in the valley has been marked by a mix of grief, fear and frustration, coupled with a shift towards unity against terror. People took to the streets from all walks of life condemning the Pahalgam attack. Kashmiris across the board expressed unanimous condemnation of the attack, with many locals, including hoteliers and residents, describing it as a tragedy unprecedented in its scale.
इस किलिंग से जो है पूरी कौम शर्मसार है, पूरी कश्मीरियत शर्मसार है और पूरी कश्मीरी आवाम जो है शर्मसार है। और ये अटैक जो है ये टूरिस्ट्स पे नहीं है, ये कश्मीरियों पे है, ये कश्मीरियत पे है, ये इंसानियत पे है और हम जो है इसकी पुरजोर मजम्मत करते हैं।
The attack was a reminder of the growing frustration of Pakistan against peace established in the valley after almost 4 decades. For the first time in years, Kashmiris were witnessing nightlife and cinema. The attack severely impacted Kashmir's tourism, a critical economic driver.
पूरा ही काम डाउन हो गया, काम तो है नहीं, आप नज़र दौड़ा सकते हैं मार्केट की, कहीं कस्टमर दिख नहीं रहा है. It is round about 100% downfall is there because we don't have tourists. Our main business was with the tourists and they are not coming.
The Pahalgam attack prompted a robust response from the security forces, with increased coordination between police and the army, alongside a shift in counter-terror strategies. 6 terrorists have been killed so far in 2 operations since the Pahalgam attack. While the hunt for the Pahalgam attackers is on, the local support against terror has reflected a collaborative effort between security agencies and locals to root out terrorism.
यहाँ की पब्लिक है, मैं उनका भी धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा। हम सभी सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस की तरफ से मैं उनका धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा कि उनके सहयोग के बगैर इस तरीके की सफलता और आतंकवाद का सफाया करना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है। और इस सफलता इस बात का भी ये प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण है कि पब्लिक खुद चाहती है कि इस आतंकवाद का, इस दहशतगर्दी का जम्मू एंड कश्मीर से सफाया पूरी तरह से हो सके।
Despite the trauma and economic fallout, Kashmiris are showing remarkable resilience to rebuild trust and revive the valley's image as a safe destination.
Kashmir log is very helpful, very truthful and very supportive of this, and we are safe here. No worries for tourism. Tourists can come from many parts of the world.
बहुत अच्छा माहौल है और कोई डर नहीं है।
The government is trying to ensure they send a message that Kashmir is peaceful and this attack would not hamper Kashmiris from standing against terrorism and welcoming those who want to come to Kashmir. With Bashir Lone in Srinagar, Shanwani for CNN News 18.
ऐसे नहीं, ये बताइए आज सुबह को गए हुए पूरा 1 महीना हुआ, क्या लगता है कि आप लोग का दर्द कम हुआ है या उसी तरह?
हमने आज घर पे शांति पाठ किया था और उसकी आत्मा की शांति के लिए हवन किया था। रोज़ हम यही भगवान से मनाते भी हैं कि जहाँ पे भी हो वो उसकी आत्मा को शांति रहे, ठीक हो, खुश हो। आज बस हमने यही किया, उसको बहुत ही याद कर रहे थे सब लोग। इस घटना को कोई भूल नहीं सकता। मुझे लगता है ये पूरा देश इस घटना को पूरी तरीके से याद रखेगा। हर जगह यही बात होगी कि इस पहलगाम हमले को 22 अप्रैल को 1 महीना हो चुका है। इसके अलावा हम सरकार से एक ही बात शुरुआत से कर रहे हैं कि मैं पहले दिन से बोल रही हूँ कि उसको शहीद का दर्जा दिया जाए। आज भी मुझे उम्मीद है कि सरकार इस पर कुछ तो सोच रही होगी, कुछ तो करेगी। उम्मीद पूरी है कि शुभम को शहीद का दर्जा मिलेगा।
क्या हुआ था शुरुआत से लेकर?
हम 17 अप्रैल को पहुँचे थे और हम पूरी फैमिली के 11 लोग थे, हम सब गए थे। 2:10 या 2:15 में हम पहुँचे थे और ये घटना 2:25 पे हुई है। 2:25 पे वो आए, उन्होंने पूछा हिंदू है या मुसलमान। एक बंदा था पीछे से ही आया था, हम समझ ही नहीं पाए क्या है, क्योंकि शुरुआत हम नहीं समझ पाओगे। हमने पूछा क्या हुआ भैया, फिर दोबारा बोला हिंदू है मुसलमान, मुसलमान है तो कलमा पढ़। शुभम ने प्राउडली बोला हिंदू हैं और उसका सेंटेंस ख़त्म भी नहीं हुआ था कि उसको मार दिया। वहाँ के जितने लोग मारे गए हैं उन सब ने बोला होगा बहुत प्राउडली कि हम हिंदू हैं और हम अपने ही देश में हिंदू होने की वजह से मार दिए गए हैं।
जैसे कि आपको भी पता है 1 महीना होने को आया है, तो मेरे भाई की जो 22 अप्रैल को जो हादसा हुआ था उसमें मेरे भाई की जो डेथ हुई थी, उन्होंने जो शहादत पाई थी, तो उस वजह से हम मतलब बहुत खुश थे। उन्होंने जो काम किया था बहुत ही अच्छा काम किया था। उन्होंने किसी की मतलब टूरिस्ट को सेव करते हुए उनकी जान बचाई थी और अपनी जान दे दी थी। उन्होंने जो वहाँ पे काम किया था वो प्राउड वाला काम था। और उसके बाद जो है मोदी जी ने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर जो स्टार्ट किया था वो भी एक बेहतरीन कदम था, वो भी एक बहुत अच्छा मतलब कदम था। और जो वहाँ पे निहत्थे लोगों का कत्ल हुआ था उनका जो बदला लिया था, तो उससे हम बहुत खुश हैं।
Pakistan didn't just provoke with Pahalgam. It didn't just shelter the killers. It didn't just justify the massacre. It gave China front row seats to the bloodshed. Top Bharatiya intelligence sources confirm what we have long suspected. Pakistan isn't acting alone. It's Beijing's pawn, a rented trigger in China's proxy war to destabilize Bharat. Through diplomatic shielding and military tech, China is using Pakistan to test weapons, drain Bharat's resources, and reshape South Asia's balance without even firing a bullet itself. The radar realignments, the satellite adjustments, the J-10Cs in combat, all timed perfectly with Pakistan's terror strikes. Operation Sindoor, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and planned by Ajit Doval, wasn't just a retaliation. When Bharat hit terror hubs in POK and Pakistan's Punjab, one disturbing pattern emerged. Chinese fingerprints all over Pakistan's air defense systems. Radar systems upgraded just days ahead of the strike, satellite coverage realigned to track Indian jets, encrypted communications, tech logistics, real-time battlefield inputs, not passive support, but active battlefield coordination. Sources also confirm Chinese military engineers were present in Pakistani bases during the height of the conflict. Ajit Doval personally oversaw the strike lists. Multiple targets were updated just hours before the launch to outwit Chinese-advised air defense setups. This was documented by the Ministry of Defense-backed Center for Joint Warfare Studies. China is also fast-tracking the delivery of its fifth-generation stealth fighter jets, the J-35A, to its long-time strategic partner, Pakistan. Top diplomatic sources in Beijing and Islamabad have called it a reward, and Pakistan is expected to receive the first batch of 30 J-35A jets as early as August 2025, and all that at a 50% discount, the tip of the iceberg itself. This 50% discount on these fighter jets. Intelligence reports indicate that a cohort of Pakistan Air Force pilots has already been dispatched to the People's Liberation Army Air Force headquarters in Beijing for operational conversion training on the J-35A platform. This was because China didn't sell them for profit, but for combat data. May 7th became a live trial ground with Bharat as the intended test dummy. Pakistan claims to have downed 6 Bharatiya jets, but zero independent proof. Meanwhile, China watched and learned, calibrating its hardware for future wars, perhaps in Taiwan or the South China Sea, or perhaps with Bharat itself. Bharat now faces a permanent two-front threat, a military doctrine where every bullet fired by Pakistan is potentially backed by Chinese satellites, Chinese drones, and Chinese command advisors. The radar upgrades and the J-10 sales and the J-35A sales are just one piece of a larger puzzle, the string of pearls. Gwadar in Pakistan, Hambantota in Sri Lanka, Djibouti in Africa. China is building a naval noose also around Bharat. And Pakistan is the most willing pearl of them all. What was once China's flagship, the $62 billion CPEC, is now a sinking ship. Balochistan is on fire. Chinese engineers are under attack. Chinese convoys are bombed. Protests are erupting in Karachi and Gwadar. CPEC roads are ghost routes. Gwadar port is empty. Islamabad is buried in loans and it can't repay, and China knows it. Pakistan is now literally an extension of China's will. Operation Sindoor hit not just terror camps but exposed a strategic nexus. Pakistan's terror machine and China's war lab are now integrated. The Pahalgam attack was their joint venture. The radar setups were rehearsals. Pakistan has mortgaged its sovereignty to Beijing, and China has leased a battlefield right here at our border.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
All right, getting and breaking inputs from Tirumala. In fact, there was commotion over a namaz that was being offered in Tirumala as a Muslim man offered namaz near the Tirumala Kalyana Mandapam wearing a Hazrat cap. Vigilance officials are currently engaged in identifying who the person is and why did he offer the namaz there. A search is also underway for the person based on the car number and the CCTV footage that they have been able to access. Those visuals, in fact, coming in of that man offering namaz in Tirumala over there. PV Ramana brings us more inputs. Ramana, take us through what exactly ensued and have they been able to ascertain the identity of this man?
Still, the Vigilance Enforcement Department team, Vigilance Police is searching for that particular person who did the namaz in the premises of Tirumala temple. In fact, it is completely prohibited in Tirumala Hills because if the person who wanted to enter into the Tirumala Hills, there is a strict prohibition of other religion, even literature, dress, whatever the thing will be there, that will be removed outside of the at the entrance of the Tirumala Hills itself. There will be thorough check will be conducted and accordingly all this there will be removed. But the person entered into the Tirumala Hills and it is the namaz wearing that Hazrat cap and all, it is creating sensation in Tirumala. The police is searching for him. That video was shot by some other and it is going on viral in the social media. Meanwhile, that person has given a complaint to the Vigilance Department with this particular video, and police is now they are doing the searching for that particular person based on his car number and all. And even as of now, there is no update on that. Still, they are searching for him because it's a very holy place, and there is the Tirumala is very holy place for Hindus. There is completely prohibition of other religion, whatever the things, whether it is literature, whether it is dress, whether it is cap, whatever it will be there, that will be removed. Even that vehicle enters into the Tirumala Hills also, if there is any stickers kind of a thing, that will be removed at the entrance itself. So one person entered into the temple and he is doing wearing the Hazrat and he is doing namaz. It is definitely one of the biggest sensational things that definitely police will definitely it will be taken by the police very seriously by the police, and they are searching accordingly. Have to see what exactly will happen, and is he identified or not, will come to know very soon.
All right. Many thanks to you, Ramana, for bringing us all those latest inputs on that news story. It's led to quite a sensation. We await more inputs coming in from the authorities. With that, we're slipping into a quick break. Stay tuned to Nation at 5.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
All right, getting and breaking inputs from Tirumala. In fact, there was commotion over a namaz that was being offered in Tirumala as a Muslim man offered namaz near the Tirumala Kalyana Mandapam wearing a Hazrat cap. Vigilance officials are currently engaged in identifying who the person is and why did he offer the namaz there. A search is also underway for the person based on the car number and the CCTV footage that they have been able to access. Those visuals, in fact, coming in of that man offering namaz in Tirumala over there. PV Ramana brings us more inputs. Ramana, take us through what exactly ensued and have they been able to ascertain the identity of this man?
Still, the Vigilance Enforcement Department team, Vigilance Police is searching for that particular person who did the namaz in the premises of Tirumala temple. In fact, it is completely prohibited in Tirumala Hills because if the person who wanted to enter into the Tirumala Hills. There is a strict prohibition of other religion, even literature, dress, whatever the thing will be there, that will be removed outside of the at the entrance of the Tirumala Hills itself. There will be thorough check will be conducted, and accordingly all this will be removed. But the person entered into the Tirumala Hills and it is the namaz, wearing that Hazrat cap and all, it is creating sensation in Tirumala. The police is searching for him. That video was caught by shot by some other, and it is going on viral in the social media. Meanwhile, that person has given a complaint to the business department with this particular video, and police is now they are doing the searching for that particular person based on his car number and all. And even as of now, there is no update on that. Still, they are searching for him because it's a very holy place, and there is the Tirumala is very holy place for Hindus. There is completely prohibition of other religion, whatever the things, whether it is literature, whether it is dress, whether it is cap, whatever it will be there, that will be removed. Even that vehicle enters into the Tirumala Hills also, if there is any stickers kind of a thing, that will be removed at the entrance itself. So one person entered into that temple and he is doing wearing the Hazrat and he is doing namaz, is definitely one of the biggest sensational thing that definitely police will definitely it will be taken by the police very seriously by the police, and they are searching accordingly how to see what exactly will happen, and is identified or not will come to know very soon.
All right. Many thanks to you, Ramana, for bringing us all those latest inputs on that news story. It's led to quite a sensation. We await more inputs coming in from the authorities. With that, we're slipping into a quick break. Stay tuned to Nation at 5.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
All right, getting and breaking inputs from Tirumala. In fact, there was commotion over a namaz that was being offered in Tirumala as a Muslim man offered namaz near the Tirumala Kalyana Mandapam wearing a Hazrat cap. Vigilance officials are currently engaged in identifying who the person is and why did he offer the namaz there. A search is also underway for the person based on the car number and the CCTV footage that they have been able to access. Those visuals, in fact, coming in of that man offering namaz in Tirumala over there. PV Ramana brings us more inputs. Ramana, take us through what exactly ensued and have they been able to ascertain the identity of this man?
Still, the Vigilance Enforcement Department team, Vigilance Police is searching for that particular person who did the namaz in the premises of Tirumala temple. In fact, it is completely prohibited in Tirumala Hills because if the person who wanted to enter into the Tirumala Hills, there is a strict prohibition of other religion, even literature, dress, whatever the thing will be there, that will be removed outside of the at the entrance of the Tirumala Hills itself. There will be thorough check will be conducted, and accordingly all this will be removed. But the person entered into the Tirumala Hills and it is the namaz, wearing that Hazrat cap and all, it is creating sensation in Tirumala. The police is searching for him. That video was caught by shot by some other, and it is going on viral in the social media. Meanwhile, that person has given a complaint to the business department with this particular video, and police is now they are doing the searching for that particular person based on his car number and all. And even as of now, there is no update on that. Still, they are searching for him because it's a very holy place, and there is the Tirumala is very holy place for Hindus. There is completely prohibition of other religion, whatever the things, whether it is literature, whether it is dress, whether it is cap, whatever it.
Good evening, you're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. It's been exactly 1 month since the terror attack in Pahalgam in which 26 Indians were killed. They were segregated by their religion, and those who were non-Muslim were killed in point-blank range, and that too in front of their loved ones. In response, India carried out Operation Sindoor, in which 9 Pakistani terror bases, including the headquarters of the Lashkar in Muridke and the headquarters